What if I told you that you could buy a car that used to cost more than a house for less than a used Honda Civic? I'm talking about leather seats softer than your pillow, technology that was science fiction 10 years ago, and engines that sound like orchestra symphonies. The catch? Nobody wants them. These luxury dreams became depreciation nightmares, and today I'm showing you 5 incredibly cheap luxury cars that their original owners are practically begging you to take off their hands. Some of these lost over 80% of their value, and trust me, number 3 will make you question everything you know about German engineering. Let's dive in.
Coming in at number 5, we have the Volvo V40. And here's something that'll blow your mind. This Swedish hatchback was designed to compete with the Audi A3 and the Mercedes A-Class. Volvo threw everything they had at this car. We're talking about a premium compact that was supposed to be the gateway drug into Scandinavian luxury. Beautiful design, cutting-edge safety tech, and that unmistakable Volvo DNA that screams, "I make responsible decisions, but I also have taste." But here's the problem. Americans never got it. That's right, if you're watching from the States, you probably forgot this car existed because Volvo said, we're good, and never brought it over. Meanwhile, in Europe, the UK, and Australia, these things are now selling for less than a fully loaded Corolla. Now, why is this car actually brilliant? First off, the interior quality is absolutely stunning for the price you're paying now. We're talking soft-touch materials everywhere, a beautifully minimalist Scandinavian design that makes you feel like you're sitting in a piece of IKEA furniture, except this one actually came with all the screws included. The seats? Pure Volvo magic. These Swedes know how to make seats that'll support your back better than your chiropractor. You could drive from London to Edinburgh and arrive feeling like you just had a spa day. The dashboard layout is clean, intuitive, and features Volvo's brilliant Sensus infotainment system, which at the time was genuinely ahead of its competitors. Plus, you get that gorgeous digital instrument cluster that makes you feel like you're piloting something way more expensive than what you actually paid. But here's where Volvo really flexed their muscles: safety. This car came with more airbags than a bouncy castle factory. We're talking about the world's first pedestrian airbag system, which literally deploys from under the hood to protect anyone unfortunate enough to meet your front bumper. City safety with auto braking, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert. This car had tech in 2013 that some budget brands are still trying to figure out today. Euro NCAP gave it a 5-star rating, and honestly, you could probably survive a meteor strike in one of these things. Under the hood, you've got options ranging from punchy little turbocharged 4-cylinders to the T5 variant that pushes out around 245 horsepower. That's proper hot hatch territory. The chassis is sharp, the steering is direct, and it genuinely feels like a premium product when you're hustling it down a winding road. Volvo even partnered with Polestar for some variants, giving you performance upgrades that make this Swedish meatball seriously spicy. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the oil leak in the engine bay. Here's what you absolutely need to check before buying a V40. First, the diesel engines, particularly the D4, have a reputation for EGR valve failures and DPF issues. If you're looking at a diesel, make sure it's been driven regularly on highways, not just short city trips, where you're going to be staring at a check engine light brighter than your future. Second, the dual-clutch automatic, the power shift, can be problematic. Some owners report jerky shifts and clutch wear, especially in higher mileage examples. If you're test driving one, pay close attention to how it shifts at low speeds. If it's lurching around like a teenager learning manual for the first time, walk away. Third, suspension components, particularly the front bushings and drop links, tend to wear faster than you'd expect. Listen for clunks and rattles over bumps. And finally, check for software updates. Seriously, Volvo issued several recalls and updates for various electrical gremlins, and you want to make sure the car you're buying has had all of them sorted. But here's the beautiful truth. If you find a well-maintained V40 with a solid service history, you're getting a car that was engineered to Swedish perfection, wrapped in gorgeous Scandinavian design and packed with safety tech that puts it leagues ahead of anything else in this price range. For the cost of a used economy car, you're driving something that makes you look like you've got your life together. And honestly, that's worth its weight in Swedish meatballs. But if you think the V40's depreciation is bad, wait until you see what happened to our next car. This one went from being a Hollywood status symbol to, well, you'll see. Stick around.
At number 4, we've got the Audi Q3. And let me paint you a picture. Back in 2011, when this compact luxury SUV first dropped, it was the car for young professionals who wanted to tell the world, "I've made it, but I'm still practical about it." Soccer moms upgraded from their Camrys, tech bros traded in their sedans, and suddenly everyone wanted a piece of that 4-ring prestige on their driveway. Fast forward to today, and you can pick up a first-generation Q3 for about the same price as a decent gaming PC. We're talking premium German engineering with Quattro all-wheel drive for less than most people spend on their monthly coffee habit. So what went wrong? Spoiler alert, absolutely nothing. This is just the beautiful brutality of luxury car depreciation working in your favor. Let's be real for a second. The Q3 might be Audi's smallest SUV, but it punches way above its weight class in the looks department. Those sharp LED headlights, that iconic single-frame grille, and the muscular stance make it look like someone took a Q5, threw it in the dryer, and somehow made it even better. It's got that unmistakable Audi presence that turns heads at traffic lights, except now you're getting those looks without the crippling monthly payments. The first-gen model has aged incredibly well, too. Park it next to something brand new, and honestly, most people won't even realize your luxury SUV cost you less than their Civic. It's the automotive equivalent of wearing a perfectly tailored thrift store suit to a wedding. Nobody needs to know. Step inside, and this is where Audi really shows off why they dominated the premium compact segment. The build quality is absolutely sensational. Everything feels solid, substantial, like it was assembled by German engineers who take their job way too seriously, which, let's be honest, they probably do. You've got soft leather everywhere, aluminum trim that actually looks like aluminum and not plastic cosplay, and that beautiful driver-focused cockpit that makes you feel like you're in something 3 times the price. The MMI infotainment system might not have all the fancy smartphone integration of today's cars, but it works flawlessly, and the logic behind it actually makes sense. Plus, you get the legendary Audi Virtual Cockpit in later models, which turns your gauge cluster into a customizable digital masterpiece. And here's the kicker. Despite being a compact SUV, the interior space is genuinely impressive. Adults can actually sit in the back without assuming the fetal position, and the cargo area will swallow your weekly grocery run with room to spare. Now let's talk about what makes the Q3 an absolute weapon on the road. That Quattro all-wheel drive system, it's not just a marketing gimmick. This is genuine Audi engineering that's been battle-tested in everything from rally cars to supercars. Rain, snow, gravel, doesn't matter. This thing grips like it's been glued to the tarmac. The handling is sharp and responsive, way more car-like than you'd expect from an SUV. Audi basically took their A3 platform, gave it a lift kit and some attitude, and created something that's genuinely fun to chuck around corners. Engine options range from efficient 4-cylinders all the way up to the bonkers RS Q3 with its turbocharged 5-cylinder that sounds like an angry dragon gargling gravel. Even the base models deliver punchy performance that makes highway merging feel like a sport. Alright, reality check time. Before you rush to Craigslist with your credit card, let's talk about what you need to watch out for. First up, timing chain tensioners on the 2.0 TFSI engines, particularly from 2012 to 2014. If these fail, and they can, you're looking at catastrophic engine damage that'll cost more than the car is worth. Check the service history religiously and listen for any rattling noises from the engine on cold starts. If it sounds like a bag of angry marbles, run. Second, the dual-clutch transmission, the S-tronic, is generally solid, but can develop mechatronic unit failures, especially if the car has lived its life in stop-and-go traffic. Make sure shifts are smooth and there's no hesitation or juddering when pulling away from stops. Third, suspension wear is real. Control arm bushings, drop links, and shock absorbers can wear prematurely, especially on cars that have been driven hard or on rough roads. Get it up on a lift if possible and check for any play or leaking dampers. Fourth, the panoramic sunroof, while gorgeous, can develop drainage tube blockages that lead to water leaking into the cabin. Check the footwells for dampness and make sure all the drain holes are clear. And finally, carbon buildup on direct injection engines is inevitable. If the car hasn't had a carbon cleaning service by 60 or 70,000 miles, factor that into your budget because you'll need one soon. But here's why the Q3 is still an absolute steal. When everything checks out, you're getting a supremely well-built, beautifully designed, genuinely capable luxury SUV that wears the 4 rings with pride. It's reliable enough for daily duties, practical enough for family life, and stylish enough to make you feel like you're driving something special every single time you turn the key. For the price of a tired economy crossover, you're stepping into the world of German luxury. That's not a compromise, that's a strategy. Now, if you thought German depreciation was savage, buckle up. Our next entry is a British masterpiece that lost value faster than the pound after Brexit. And trust me, the reasons why will surprise you.
Rolling in at number 3 is the Jeep Grand Cherokee. And this is where things get properly interesting. This is the SUV that convinced America you could have your cake and eat it too. Luxury? Check. Off-road capability? Check. Enough presence to make a Range Rover owner do a double take? Absolutely. When the 4th generation WK2 launched in 2011, Jeep basically said, forget everything you knew about us being rough and rugged, and delivered something that could go toe-to-toe with the Germans in the luxury department while still maintaining that legendary Jeep toughness. People were paying 50, 60, even 70 grand for loaded Summit and SRT models. Today, you can grab a clean example for the price of a used Mazda. And here's the controversial truth nobody wants to admit. This might actually be the smartest buy on this entire list. Yeah, I said it. The German fans in the comments are already typing furiously, but hear me out. The Grand Cherokee, especially in its 4th gen form, is absolutely gorgeous. I'm talking genuinely handsome in a way that makes you forget it's a Jeep. The proportions are spot on, the stance is aggressive without being obnoxious, and that 7-slot grille, pure American iconography. But here's what really separates this from the competition: authenticity. While other luxury SUVs are pretending they can go off-road, the Grand Cherokee actually can and will. This thing has genuine trail-rated capability baked into its DNA. You've got multiple 4-wheel drive systems to choose from, including the legendary Quadra Drive 2 with electronic limited-slip differentials, and the brilliant Select Terrain system that lets you dial in the perfect setup for whatever surface you're conquering. Snow, mud, sand, rocks, it genuinely doesn't matter. This SUV will take you places that would make a Cayenne owner cry into their latte. Pop open that door and prepare to have your expectations completely shattered. The interior of a higher trim Grand Cherokee, especially the Overland or Summit models, is legitimately luxurious. We're talking about Napa leather so soft you'll want to bring a pillow, real wood trim that actually looks like it came from a tree and not a printer, and build quality that rivals anything coming out of Bavaria. The seats are phenomenally comfortable, with heating, cooling, and massage functions that'll make your chiropractor jealous. You've got the Uconnect infotainment system, which frankly embarrasses most German systems with its intuitive interface and lightning-fast responses. It actually does what you want it to do the first time. Revolutionary concept, I know. The rear seats offer legitimate space for adults, and if you opt for the 3-row model, you can actually squeeze 7 people in here. The cargo capacity is enormous too, easily swallowing everything from camping gear to flat-pack furniture. And let's talk about that available 19-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. It's so good you'll find excuses to sit in your driveway just to finish your favorite song.
Under the hood is where the Grand Cherokee really shows its versatility. You've got everything from efficient V6 options to the mighty 5.7-liter Hemi V8 that rumbles like Thor clearing his throat. And then, for the absolute lunatics among us, there's the SRT with its 6.4-liter Hemi pumping out 475 horsepower. That's supercar numbers in a family SUV body. This thing will hit 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds while carrying 5 people in their luggage. It's hilariously unnecessary and absolutely brilliant. But even the standard models deliver smooth, refined power delivery that makes highway cruising effortless. The ride quality is superb, soaking up bumps with the kind of composure you'd expect from something wearing a premium badge. And when you do decide to venture off the beaten path, the air suspension raises up, the skid plates protect your undercarriage, and suddenly you're crawling over obstacles that would high-center a Porsche Macan. Now, let's get down to brass tacks, because the Grand Cherokee isn't without its quirks and potential headaches. First and foremost, the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, while generally reliable, can develop a cylinder head issue on earlier models, particularly 2011 to 2013. Look for any signs of coolant loss or overheating in the service records. The fix isn't cheap if it goes wrong. Second, the air suspension system, while fantastic when it works, can be expensive to repair. Listen for any compressor noises and make sure the ride height adjusts properly. If one corner is sagging or the system throws error codes, you're looking at potentially thousands in repairs. Third, electrical gremlins are a thing. Window regulators, door lock actuators, and various sensors can act up, especially as the car ages. It's not catastrophic, but it's annoying, and death by 1,000 cuts adds up. Fourth, transmission issues, particularly with the 8-speed automatic in earlier models, have been reported. Make sure shifts are crisp and there's no shuddering or slipping. Jeep issued software updates for many of these, so verify the car you're looking at has had all recalls and TSBs addressed. Fifth, rust protection wasn't Jeep's strongest suit on these, especially in salt belt regions. Check the undercarriage thoroughly, paying special attention to the frame rails, suspension mounting points, and exhaust system. And finally, fuel economy is, let's be diplomatic here, optimistic at best. If you're going for a Hemi, just accept that your new best friend will be the gas station attendant. But here's why I'm genuinely excited about the Grand Cherokee as a depreciation bargain. When you find a well-maintained example with proper service history, you're getting authentic American luxury with genuine capability that no European rival can match at this price point. It's comfortable enough for cross-country road trips, capable enough for serious adventures, and stylish enough to park at the country club without feeling out of place. The reliability, when properly maintained, is actually quite solid, despite the internet horror stories. This is a vehicle with character, with soul, with that indefinable quality that makes you smile every time you see it in your driveway. For the price of a sensible sedan, you're getting an SUV that can do absolutely everything. But if you think American depreciation is rough, wait till you see what happened to our next car. This German luxury sedan was supposed to compete with the best, but instead it became the automotive equivalent of a participation trophy. Number 2 is gonna hurt.
At number 2, we have the Mercedes A200, and this one stings a little differently. This was supposed to be Mercedes-Benz's masterstroke, their secret weapon to hook young buyers into the three-pointed star lifestyle before they could even spell BMW. When the third generation, W176, dropped in 2012, Mercedes completely reinvented what an entry-level luxury car could be. Gone was the weird, tall hatchback that looked like a minivan had a midlife crisis. In its place, a low-slung, genuinely sexy compact that made Audi and BMW engineers nervous. People were lining up to drop 30, 40 grand on these things, desperate to get that Mercedes badge on their driveway. Fast forward to now, and you can snag a clean A200 for less than a new budget hatchback. The depreciation graph looks like it fell off a cliff, hit every rock on the way down, and then kept going. But here's the twist that'll make your accountant very happy. This depreciation disaster is actually your golden ticket into proper Mercedes luxury. Let's talk about why this car caused such a stir when it launched. The design is absolutely killer. I'm talking sharp, aggressive lines that make it look like it's doing 50 even when it's parked. That diamond block grille became instantly iconic. The swept-back headlights give it this predatory stance, and the overall proportions are just chef's kiss perfect. Mercedes hired actual fashion designers to help style this thing, and it shows. This doesn't look like a budget Mercedes. It looks like someone took an E-Class, compressed it in Photoshop, and somehow made it cooler in the process. The W176 generation has aged beautifully too. Park it next to something from this year, and people will genuinely struggle to tell the difference. It's got that timeless Mercedes elegance, mixed with just enough aggression to let everyone know you're not here to play nice. And with the AMG line package, forget about it. You're basically driving jewelry. Slide into that cabin, and this is where Mercedes really flexed on the competition. The interior quality is obscenely good for what you're paying now. Everything feels premium, substantial, like it was built by people who genuinely care about craftsmanship. You've got that beautiful three-spoke steering wheel that feels perfect in your hands, supportive seats wrapped in quality materials, and ambient lighting that lets you pretend you're in a nightclub instead of stuck in traffic. The dashboard layout is clean and modern, with Mercedes' command infotainment system that actually works properly. Shocking, I know. Later models got the upgraded system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, making your smartphone integration seamless. The digital instrument cluster option is gorgeous, giving you customizable displays that make checking your speed feel like playing a video game. And here's something nobody talks about. The attention to detail is insane. The way the air vents click into position, the damped feel of every switch, the soft closed doors on higher trims, these are details you'd expect in an S-Class, not in Mercedes' entry-level offering. Under the hood, the A200 packs a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that punches out around 184 horsepower depending on the model year. Now, that might not sound earth-shattering on paper, but here's the thing, it's perfectly adequate. This isn't about drag racing Mustangs at traffic lights. It's about smooth, refined power delivery that makes daily driving genuinely pleasant. The turbo spools up nicely, giving you a satisfying surge of torque when you need it, and the 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox shifts with the kind of precision that makes you feel like you're conducting an orchestra. The chassis is surprisingly sharp, too. Mercedes tuned this thing to feel sporty without sacrificing ride comfort, which is a genuinely difficult balance to strike. It corners flat, the steering has actual feedback, and you can genuinely have fun on a twisty back road. The front-wheel drive layout means it's practical in bad weather, and the efficiency is excellent, especially if you find one of the later models with the updated engine management. You're getting legitimate premium driving dynamics wrapped in a package that wears the 3-pointed star with pride. Alright, time for some tough love because the A200 has its share of issues you absolutely need to know about. First up, the dual-clutch transmission, while generally solid, can develop mechatronic failures, particularly in earlier W176 models. If the gearbox hesitates, clunks, or refuses to engage gears smoothly, that's a red flag waving frantically. Repairs are eye-wateringly expensive, so make sure any car you're considering shifts perfectly under all conditions. Second, the 1.6-liter diesel engines, if you're looking at those variants, have been known for EGR cooler failures and injector issues. Stick to the petrol A200 if you want fewer headaches and better long-term reliability. Third, suspension components, particularly front anti-roll bar links and lower control arm bushings, wear faster than you'd hope. Listen carefully for clunking noises over bumps and check for uneven tire wear, which indicates alignment issues from worn components. Fourth, the infotainment system can suffer from software glitches, frozen screens, and Bluetooth connectivity issues. Make sure everything works properly during your test drive and that the software is up to date. Fifth, Rust isn't typically a huge issue on these, but check the rear subframe mounting points and wheel arches, especially if the car has lived somewhere with harsh winters and heavy salt use. And finally, service costs are still Mercedes-level expensive. Parts aren't cheap, and even routine maintenance will cost more than your average hatchback. Factor that into your budget or find a good independent Mercedes specialist who won't charge you dealership rates. But let's bring this back to why the A200 is still an absolute gem in the depreciation bargain bin. You're getting a genuinely premium car from one of the world's most prestigious manufacturers for pocket change. The build quality is excellent, the design is timeless, and you get to pull up anywhere with that three-pointed star on the grille, making people wonder if you've got your life way more together than you actually do. That's worth something. Plus, when properly maintained, these cars are actually quite dependable. The horror stories you read online are usually from people who skipped services and ignored warning lights. Treat it right, and the A200 will treat you right. For the price of a boring economy car, you're driving Mercedes luxury. That's not just a good deal, that's basically theft. And now, we've reached the final boss of depreciation nightmares. Our #1 pick lost so much value that the original owners probably cried themselves to sleep. This luxury beast went from prestigious to practically free, and when you hear what it is, you'll understand exactly why. Let's go.
And here we are at #1, the absolute heavyweight champion of depreciation nightmares, the Jaguar XF. This is the car that makes financial advisors break down in tears and opportunistic buyers rub their hands together with glee. When Jaguar unveiled the first-generation X250 back in 2007, it was nothing short of revolutionary. This was Jaguar's declaration of war against the German establishment, their "we're back, baby" moment, after years of being that beautiful British brand that everyone loved but nobody quite trusted. The design was jaw-dropping. The interior was like something out of a Bond film, and people were genuinely paying $60,000, $70,000, even $80,000 for loaded supercharged models. Today, you can find pristine examples for less than a 10-year-old Camry. We're talking about depreciation curves that look like someone pushed them off the Grand Canyon. But here's the absolute insanity of it all. The XF might just be the most underrated luxury sedan ever built, and the depreciation means you're basically committing highway robbery in the best possible way. Let's start with the obvious. This car is drop-dead gorgeous. Ian Callum, the legendary designer behind the Aston Martin DB9 and Vanquish, penned this masterpiece, and every single line flows with purpose and grace. The proportions are perfect, with that long hood, swept-back roofline, and muscular haunches that make it look like a big cat ready to pounce. The front end is aggressive yet elegant, with that massive grille and those predatory headlights. The side profile is pure automotive poetry, and the rear end, especially with those sleek taillights, is instantly recognizable from half a mile away. This doesn't look like a German sedan trying to be serious and businesslike. This looks like something a villain would drive while plotting world domination. It has character, personality, soul. Park an XF next to a BMW 5 Series or a Mercedes E-Class, and the Jaguar makes them look like they're wearing gray suits to a black tie event. And the second-generation X260 that launched in 2015, somehow they made it even prettier. It's lighter, more aerodynamic, and looks like it's carving through the wind even when it's sitting still. But the real magic happens when you open that door and settle into the driver's seat. The interior of the XF is an absolute theater of luxury and innovation. When you press the start button, the gear selector rises from the center console like something out of a sci-fi movie. The air vents rotate into position, and suddenly you're not just in a car, you're in an experience. The materials are exquisite, with soft leather covering nearly every surface, real aluminum or wood trim depending on the spec, and a fit and finish that rivals anything from Stuttgart or Munich. The seats are phenomenally comfortable, offering the perfect balance between support and cushioning. You could drive across continents in these things without developing a single back pain. The dashboard is elegantly simple, with that beautiful analog clock front and center, reminding you that you're driving a proper British luxury car.
Later models got Jaguar's In-Control Touch Pro system with dual touchscreens that look absolutely futuristic and actually work well once you learn the interface. The rear seats offer proper executive-class legroom, and the trunk is cavernous enough for a proper weekend getaway or a moderately sized body, just in case you're actually a Bond villain. Now let's talk about what makes the XF an absolute weapon on the road. Jaguar offered an incredible range of engines, from efficient diesels all the way up to the bonkers 5-liter supercharged V8 in the XFR that pumps out 510 horsepower. That's proper supercar territory wrapped in a luxury sedan body. But even the base engines are fantastic. The 3-liter supercharged V6 delivers silky smooth power with that intoxicating supercharger whine, and the turbocharged 4-cylinder in later models is surprisingly punchy while returning excellent fuel economy. The chassis is where Jaguar really shows its expertise. This is an aluminum-intensive structure that's both light and incredibly rigid, giving you handling dynamics that feel more sports car than luxury barge. The steering is communicative and precise, the suspension manages to be both compliant and controlled, and the overall driving experience is just joyful in a way that German sedans can't quite match. They're too clinical, too perfect. The Jaguar has that British character, that sense of occasion that makes even a grocery run feel like an event. And with the adaptive dynamics system, you can dial in exactly how sporty or comfortable you want your ride to be. Now, before you sprint to the dealership with your checkbook, we need to have an honest conversation about Jaguar ownership, because there are legitimate concerns you must address. First and foremost, electrical issues are real and can be expensive. Window regulators, parking sensors, infotainment glitches, and various control modules can act up, especially as the cars age. Make absolutely certain during your test drive that every single electrical feature works correctly, because diagnosing and fixing these gremlins can get pricey fast. Second, the timing chain on the 5-liter V8 engines can stretch and cause catastrophic damage if not addressed. Listen very carefully for any rattling from the engine bay on cold starts. If you hear it, walk away immediately unless you have several $1,000s burning a hole in your pocket. Third, water pump failures on both the V8 and V6 engines are surprisingly common. Check for any signs of coolant leaks and make sure the cooling system has been properly maintained. Overheating can destroy these engines in minutes. Fourth, suspension components, particularly the front lower control arms and rear suspension bushings, wear faster than you'd hope. Any clunking noises or wandering steering should be investigated thoroughly before purchase. Fifth, the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission is generally bulletproof, but the mechatronic sleeves can fail, causing harsh shifts or failure to engage gears. Make sure shifts are smooth and decisive under all conditions. Finally, rust can be an issue on earlier models, particularly on the subframes and rear suspension mounting points. Get under the car and inspect thoroughly, especially if it's lived in areas with harsh winters. And finally, and this is critical, you need to find a good independent Jaguar specialist. Dealership service costs will make you weep openly. Parts are expensive, labor rates are high, and routine maintenance will cost significantly more than a Toyota. Budget accordingly and never, ever skip services. But the truth that enthusiasts have known all along is when you find a well-maintained XF with complete service history and no stories to tell, you're getting one of the finest luxury sedans ever built for an absolute pittance. Yes, it requires more attention than a Lexus. Yes, things will occasionally go wrong, but the driving experience, the sheer beauty, the feeling of piloting something special every single time you turn that key, it's worth every penny. This is a car with soul, with passion, with that ineffable British charm that makes you forgive its quirks because the highs are just so incredibly high. For the price of a boring economy sedan, you're getting V8 power, stunning design, and luxury that most people will never experience. That's not just a bargain, that's an opportunity.
So there you have it, 5 incredible luxury cars that depreciated harder than crypto in a bear market, giving you the chance to live the premium life without the premium payments. From Swedish safety to German precision, American muscle to British elegance, these depreciation disasters are actually your biggest opportunities. But here's the thing, I want to know what you think.
Did I miss an obvious choice? Are you brave enough to take on one of these depreciation nightmares? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let me know which car on this list you'd actually buy with your own money. And if you found this video helpful, smash that like button. It genuinely helps us keep making content like this. Subscribe and hit the notification bell because we're always diving deep into the automotive world, finding the best deals, the hidden gems, and the cars that everyone else is sleeping on. Trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming next. Until then, drive safe, buy smart, and remember, sometimes the best luxury isn't the newest, it's the smartest. I'll see you in the next one.